Welcome to Beyond the Military podcast, a space for military women determined to focus on life outside of the military as a woman veteran who once felt lost after leaving the military. I know firsthand the challenges that we face. Hi, my name is Wendy Ray, a woman of God, wife, mama of three, Army veteran, and career coach, and I'm on a mission to equip and empower women like yourself to excel in life and career with confidence. Hello, ladies, and welcome. I am so happy that you're here today, tuning in from your car, probably just from your office or just somewhere else where you typically listen to podcasts. And if you are tuning in from a actual podcast, either on Spotify or Apple, or even on Google Podcasts, I want to invite you to come join me also on video. I am on YouTube. You can find me at Wendy Ray or Beyond the Military Podcast as well. And I would love for you to not only come over and watch me record this podcast, because it's something that I'm challenging myself with moving forward to not only create content for you all, either through social media, which, by the way, if you're not following me on Instagram or on LinkedIn, come follow me. Again, my handle is at Wendy Ray, and it's WendiWray, Wendy Ray, all together. And I would love for you to come connect with me and just say hello. I would love to hear from you, especially if you are a woman that is transitioning, a military woman that is thinking about a new career, pivoting your career, a woman that is probably in business and just needs some help with how to organize your time, how to manage your mind. Come say hello to me. I would love to meet you personally. And with that, I want to also say that if you have been tuning in with me here before, I want to thank you. And I am just so happy that you're still here with me. And I'm just so excited for this year. There's so many things that I have planned. And of course, they're all going to require a lot of work and a lot of organization and a lot of time management and a lot of managing my brain. And this is why I love what I do, because I get to share the tools with you. I get to share the tools with my clients. I get to share these tools with other military women in the way that we can continue together on this mission to help other military women, help other women veterans that are out there possibly struggling because they're feeling tired, exhausted, or maybe just stuck in what they want because they don't know where to begin. I want to ask you to please write a review on this podcast, or even just share this episode with someone that you know may benefit from this podcast, and even just this specific topic that I'll be talking about today, which today is going to be a good one, you all. I'm excited for today because there's so many things that go through our mind when we're setting goals. And this is why I want to share with you all today, because this literally happened to me over the weekend. And I figured, you know what, I'm going to put this episode out this week because it's on my mind and because it's something that really just resonated with where I am. And I think that it's going to resonate with you based on where you are at the beginning of the year. We're finishing out the month and we still have a week left, a little over a week, but I want to emphasize on the importance of relationships and building relationships, and how we need to keep focused on relationships, because what happens a lot of the time, especially when we are just getting after it and we're focused on that goal, we're focused on all the 50 goals that we've set for this year, all the thousands of tasks that need or that come along with that, is very difficult to focus when you're also have so many other things going on. Your day-to-day activities, your 9 to 5, maybe you're active duty and you're like, how in the world am I going to save money or get a side hustle if I'm working 14 hours a day, or I'm not able to get to my degree that I've been wanting to get because I'm working so much. And oh, by the way, I have 3 kids. Oh, by the way, I'm a single mother. Oh, by the way, there are so many other people that need my attention, and that's okay. You know, what you're looking forward to out of learning how to manage your mind around time, and also the actual tactical thing that I'm providing as well, which is something that I truly believe that everyone needs. I know most of us like to be on paper, want to write it down, and want to have a planner, which is all great and dandy. But here's the thing. I'm a firm believer that the more we can put things on our electronics, the more that we can actually optimize the tools that are out there for us, the more time we're going to have for us to focus on other things, like our family, on other goals that we have. And so again, I really want to share that with you all in a way where you're able to digest it and ask questions. We're going to have a challenge, share what we're doing, what I'm personally doing. Of course, my goal this year, as many others, I think, is to not only lose weight, but also continue to stay in shape. As you guys know, I have a 15-month-old, and she is just keeping me busy all the time, and finding time to go to the gym, finding time to eat healthy can become a challenge. And so again, this is something that I want to emphasize, that is possible, that you can do it, and you can continue to feel encouraged no matter what. I know there's things that happen, life happens. Trust me, I get it. I've been there. I'm actually still kind of there. I'm still kind of but fallen into this like new routine of growing with my kiddos, growing as not only a professional, but also as a coach, as a podcaster. As you guys know, I've said that my goal is to continue to exceed the 25,000 downloads each year. So today's topic, as I mentioned, as I was talking about or thinking, about my goals and putting them in my routine, and really in ClickUp on where I keep everything centralized, from my personal to my professional to my coaching, my podcast. Everything goes on there because it's an easier way for me to stay focused and to be consistent on the things that I need to get done, to look forward to not only giving myself that hit of dopamine of checking the blog or checking that task off and, making sure that it's complete, but also to see my progress, to see where I'm going, and also what's working and what's not working, because that's another important piece of this that I will be talking about later, um, um, this month throughout, or the beginning of February, another podcast episode that I have, for you, so that you can start evaluating what worked and what didn't work during the first month of the year, or during that month, during that week, however you want to do it. And so with that, a lot of the times, this is what happens with us at the beginning of the year, or at the beginning of the week, the beginning of the month, when we want to start something different. Our mind wants to say that we can do it all. Like we can handle it no matter what it is. We're motivated. We're in that emotion because we're thinking all these thoughts that are helping us create that positive emotion, which is great. But here's the downfall of that. When we don't have a process, when we don't have something that we can be tangible and be consistent with it, most of the time that motivation is going to not only, it's going to minimize, we're going to lose motivation, because now we're thinking we're behind or we're not organized. We don't have these tasks outlined, these things that we need to get done in a way where it's easy for us to find. Because let's face it, we cannot remember every single thing, because our minds are not built that way. We can only remember a certain amount of things in a certain order, because that's just the way our brains work. And that's completely okay. That's why we write things down. That's why we have tools to help us to continue and facilitate this process that we have in order to make progress. And so what happens, we get ahead of ourselves, and we give ourselves way too much things to do, too many tasks. We overtask ourselves, and then we underdeliver. And so that when that becomes a problem, we then tend to feel stuck, or we tend to just get discouraged and we quit. And we're like, you know what? Losing weight isn't for me in January. I'm going to start again in February, which is completely fine. But here's the problem. We don't find what didn't work or what's going to make it better. And so that's what I want to offer you today, to pay attention to how you're setting your goals. And then if you're also setting your goals from a place of calmness or from a place of panic, because here's what happens. And before I go any further, I like to define things because as I'm thinking about these things, I write it down. I text it to myself as I said it before here on this podcast. I'm the individual that like texts myself so that I can remember to add it to my ClickUp on my episode log so that I don't forget. Because again, I'm a very forgetful person and my mind immediately moves on. And my mind is always like 10 steps ahead than my actual physical body is. So my brain is like racing through thoughts and things that ideas and all these other things. And so I have to write it down. And so before I go any further, I want to give you what panic, because I was thinking like, it's either going to be panic or hustle mentality. I was like, no, I think panic is better because this is what panic means. This is when I Googled it. Panic came up on Webster and it said uncontrollable thinking or uncontrollable behavior. And so when we are in panic mode, our thoughts are out of control. They're just doing its own thing versus being or coming from a calm state of being. And we all know that being calm pretty much means that we're doing things more intentional and we're being more aware of what's happening. And so again, are we coming when we're setting these goals and we're going after it and we're doing things, we're getting things done? Are we coming from a calm mind or are we coming from a panic mentality? Because yes, we want to focus on the goal. Yes, we do. We want to be consistent. We want to be committed. As I mentioned in my other podcast episode, that commitment is the way to go. But here's what I want to also warn you about or for you to be aware of. Are you more focused on the goal or are you still focused on what the ultimate priorities are? And by that, I mean family. By that, I mean your ultimate priorities, what you care about, right? Your health, your time, your finances. Like that's honestly the three things that we ultimately have to sacrifice eventually, or that we are always constantly spending money, investing in. And that is our health, our time, and our money. And so I want to offer you today to just take a moment and really ask yourself, is this goal taking me away from my relationships? It could be family, your spouse. Maybe you don't have any kids, your spouse. Maybe you're not in a relationship and you're like, is it taken away from me getting into a relationship, figuring out that relationship? Your relationship may be your career, right? Like that may be we all have a relationship with our career, but it's just different for everyone, right? And so is it interfering with your relationship with the people within your career? Is your goal interfering with maybe others' friendships? Maybe someone that's near and dear to your heart, right? And that you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to set any time or I don't have time to focus on this individual because I have 1,000 things to get done. And oh, by the way, my 9 to 5, and I have to think about the transition and I have to think about, somebody's birthday party. I have to plan for this. There's so many things going on, right? My degree. And so are you taken away from also continuing to grow and build a relationship? Because here's another reason why this came up. I was reading my daily devotional and it talked about a higher priority and it said building relationships. And when I read that at first, I was like, okay, building relationships, it's always important. Yes, I agree. And then it really hit me when it said, are you focused on temporal or eternal relationship? And I was like, oh, this just hit me. This just spoke to me. This just blessed me. Because most of the time we're focused on the temporal accomplishment. Or like we want to accomplish, which is fine, but we get lost and we get sucked in to only focusing on accomplishment. And I want to offer you today to focus on that eternal relationship. Are you spending any time with God? Are you spending any time with others to talk about God, to talk about your relationship with God, how God has blessed you and glorified you? And that's just an example, right? Are you taking the time to help others? Are you taking the time to serve in a different way other than just focusing on that one goal of losing weight, for example, right? Like, what if I'm just constantly like, oh my gosh, weighing myself, making sure that I'm doing all of the things, right? And not focused on really spending time with my family, spending time with the lady, spending time in the word, in prayer, because I'm so consumed with losing weight. And you all, I get it. Losing weight is the one thing that everyone, every single year at the beginning of the year is focused on, and that's okay. But what I'm saying here is, are you constantly taken away from another relationship or from a relationship to solely focus on that one goal? And listen, when I mean to be committed, I mean to be consistent, go all in, and, there's nothing that you could make you quit pretty much. But if there is something like a family member, there is, your health in jeopardy, obviously that is a great reason for you to pump the brakes on that specific goal, come back and continue to do what you can do, right? Because you can't control your health. You can't, well, yes and no, but what I mean here is, like, you can't control what happens to you, right? Like, if you get diagnosed with cancer, if you're told that you are no longer able to be in the military because now um, you're not able to run because of the surgery that you have to get done to save your life or whatever it may be, right? To continue to pursue that overall health or wellness within your health. And so, again, just making sure that you are remembering that, okay, what's more important here? What's the priority? Am I taking away from this relationship that I know I want to continue to grow? And the example that I could give you here too is with my own personal life, right? Like my little one, my kids, love them, love them, love them, love them. Yes, I want to spend all the time with them as much as I can. But here's the thing, there are different things I need to get done. But that also doesn't mean that if my little one is sick and I have a podcast to record, that I'm just going to be like, you know what? I have to record this podcast. I'm committed. There's no other way to do it. No, I'm going to adjust, one, really understand like what my mind is offering me right now. Like, oh, here we go again. You're not going to be consistent. You're not going to record the podcast. You see, it's happening to you again. Your baby is sick, yada, yada, yada. Like, and then all these things about society, about why you shouldn't be a mother in your 30s, or maybe you shouldn't have that third one, could probably come up, right? But because I'm aware of what's happening, because I'm aware of what my mind is going to offer me, I'm just gonna be like, it's okay. I know I have to record a podcast. I know I have some space tomorrow or the day after to record a podcast. If not, it's okay. I'll just record it that day without video, whatever I need to do. Maybe I'll do an MVP episode, right? There's so many other options that could happen or that could be possible in order for you to make things happen. So what is it for you? Are you okay with having a little setback? Are you okay with where you are and not in a rush to get to that goal? Are you okay to come from a calm mind versus a panic mind? Are you okay with not making progress at all this week? Like, what would that look like, right? Like, what would that look like for you on the scale, or, your waist size, or whatever you're measuring, your strength, whatever it is? Are you okay and willing to not have any or make any progress that week? And if the answer is no, I want you to question why not. What is it? Are you attached to the goal? Are you too focused on the goal and that you forget that you have other priorities, other commitments? Because here's the thing. I know we all want to have a goal and accomplish a goal in every single area of our lives. But here's the truth. We are always going to constantly have to grow in each area of our lives. So it's never going to be better there than where we are now. And so I want you, and I want to encourage you to focus on eternal relationship. And that means a relationship with yourself. If that goal doesn't get met, are you okay with where you are with yourself? So for me, am I okay with my weight now? Am I okay with, being in the size pants that I'm in now? And the answer is yes, I will be okay. I may not lose the 30 pounds that I want to lose in the next 30 days, but I'm okay to do that within the next 6 months. It's going to be okay if I don't make it to the spring break and the bathing suit that I want, or the arms that I want. or the abs that I want, right? That's just an example. Or not run the 10 miles or the half marathon by then. It's going to be okay. Because at the end of the day, I want to continue to build that relationship with God, with my family, with my loved ones, people around me, with this podcast, right? It's going to be okay. I'm pretty sure that you guys would understand if I said, hey, I couldn't record a podcast this week because my little one was sick. And it's going to be okay, right? Like, you guys got another episode. And so for you, it's the same thing. Are you okay with not finishing that degree by the end of the year? Are you okay with not getting out of debt by June? Are you okay with not going on a date because you have to take care of your mental health and you have to go to therapy before you can even start dating? Are you okay with where you are now? And if the answer is no, I want to invite you to pray. I want to invite you to lean into God for strength, to lean in for Him for answers. And I want you to question where you are now and why maybe your mind is in panic mode. Are you reacting constantly? Are you the one you're like, nope, I really need to get to these goals, and no matter what, nothing's going to stop me? I get it. That mentality out there is out there, team no sleep, sacrifice your sleep, sacrifice your time. You can do it all. You can do everything. I get it. Society is throwing that at you. The culture's throwing that at you, especially being in the military, right? Like, there's nothing that we cannot do. But here's the truth. We are human beings and we all need rest. We all need rest. We all need to organize our mind. We all need to organize our process. And in order to stay consistent and follow through, we need to be able to do that from a calm mentality, from a calm brain, not the panic brain, the one that's with uncontrollable thoughts, uncontrollable actions, uncontrollable behavior, because we're so focused on what that will look like, what the future you will look like. I get it. I want to be skinny too. I want to lose those 30 pounds. But here's the truth. I'm okay with the time that it's going to take, because I know that one, it's a lot harder for me now, right? It's a lot harder for me. I don't have the time that I used to have before the baby. I don't have the time that I used to have even before I started podcasting and coaching, because I was only doing my 9 to 5. And so again, there's things that I know I can do. And the same for you. I want to offer you, if you're transitioning at the same time, you're probably expecting, or you're probably going through a divorce, or you're probably getting married and you're transitioning out of the military, or both you and your spouse are getting out of the military at the same time. Whatever it may be, you may be getting a degree, getting a new business, you started investing, whatever it is for you, I want you to ask yourself today, am I in it temporarily, or am I in it for the eternal relationship that I want to have, not only with God, but also with others around me? Am I here to serve? Am I doing it from a place of calmness, or am I doing it from a place of like hustle mentality, panic mode, and I need to get there because it's going to be better when I get there? No, it's better now, in this moment. It's never going to get any better than this moment right now, because it's always going to be 50-50, no matter what. There's always going to be ups and downs. People are going to get sick. People are going to want your attention, need of you. And that's okay. It's completely okay. In order for you to stay focused on being consistent and focus on that goal, I want you to stay focused on how you're thinking. All right, ladies, I hope that this episode blessed you. Have a great rest of your week. Bye. Hey lady, if this podcast helped you, challenged you, or inspired you in some way, please leave me a written review for the show on Apple Podcasts and share it with another military sister. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.